following program is sponsored by PokerStars.net.
For me, it started small. From pool halls in Toronto to poke rooms in Las Vegas.
It's given me a life
I never could have dreamed.
The game has taken me around the world. I've seen it all.
From the Windy City to Sin City, this game can make you a legend.
This game can make you a champion.
It may have started small.
It may have started
But now, it's the big game.
This is the next generation.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
This is the PokerStars.net Big Game.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week of the Big Game from Las Vegas, Nevada. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Scott Huff, and tonight, one lucky internet qualifier will have the chance of a lifetime to battle some of poker's biggest names for life-changing money. Standing in his way
is Prahlad Friedman. He goes by Spirit Rock online. He's a vegan, but he didn't forget to bring his steak. He's sitting with 100 large.
Antonio Esfandiari, the magician, is here. He's seen the turn many times on the Big Game, but never gotten the prestige. He's starting with 100K.
Vanessa Selps has won back-to-back NAPTs at Mohegan Sun and is about to graduate from Yale with a law degree. Dun dun. She's starting with 100K.
Poker legend Barry Greenstein's back for more Big Game. He plays all the games well. Tonight, he can only play Hold'em. He starts with 100K.
Don't let the neck tats fool you. Nick Cassavetes is a Hollywood player. He wrote the movie Blow and directed The Notebook. He's bought in for 100K, mostly paid for by your wives and girlfriends.
Rounding out the table is the loose cannon 29-year-old Jared Huggins. The poker community rallied to help Jared conquer a recent period of homelessness, and now Jared wants to pay it forward by donating a portion of any profit to charity. He's with Amanda Leatherman.
Jared, just 2 years ago, you were unemployed, you were living in your car. Life dealt you a pretty bad hand. And today, you get to sit down at the Big Game. How you feeling?
I feel great. Yeah, I've been through a lot. My life is so much better. I'm really excited, hoping to win some money off some of these guys, and my motivation to be here is to hopefully raise money for some charity, pay it forward, and change some other people's lives.
So that's what you're going to do with all your money?
Well, I got to win first.
You're just worried about winning, and you told me earlier you're worried about getting lucky.
I want to get lucky, and I want to win, and one of the charities I would like to give some money to if I win is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that would be more to me than anything else. It's a huge honor to be here.
Well, you seem like a good guy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Here are the rules for the loose cannon. Each cannon is staked $100,000 to play. He keeps all profit above the initial $100,000, and at season's end, the loose cannon who's won the most money earns a North American Poker Tour passport worth $50,000.
And Jared will have his work cut out for him as he tries to chase down this season's first loose cannon, the aptly named Gonzalez cannon. I guess it works either way, because if he had lost, he would have been Gonzo.
Jared, it's nice to meet you, sir.
You too. Nice to meet you too.
Nice watch.
Relaxed precision.
Thanks.
I don't know how I feel about that shaped bling kind of watch.
It's really nice.
You know?
Thanks. 400?
I would never wear something like that.
I see what he's doing. His watch is the same.
Jared, do you rap?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Is this like a racial thing or something? What's the deal?
No, because I read, I did a little research on you.
I know you did. You got the look in your eye. You gave me the death stare.
No, not at all, man. I got love for you, man.
Prahlad the vegan has love for all creatures. He even refuses to use a mouse.
Action on the film director, Nick Cassavetes, ace-5 of diamonds.
18.
Raises to 1,800.
Cassavetes allegedly runs a massive Hollywood home game.
And Barry and Vanessa fold. Action on Antonio with King-Jack of hearts.
Antonio's got suited Broadway cards, and he's in position.
And he'll make the call. Suited connectors for Prahlad.
He's out of position, but it's a juicy hand.
And makes the call. 6-4 for the cannon. Quickly out.
Oh, yeah, I heard you you do a little rap, right?
Yeah.
A little bit?
You too, right?
Yeah. Maybe we can get down on a track one day.
Folded aces.
Already? It's early for that.
Queen 5-3 on the flop. Antonio's flop to flush draw. Prahlad checks. Cassavetes checks.
Nick's got the best hand with a pair of fives, but Antonio's the favorite.
And he's the one doing the betting, makes it 4,200. Prahlad is quickly out.
Nick's giving up the lead.
But he's not giving up. He makes the call.
If this goes to the river, Antonio's better than a coin flip to run down Cassavetes.
To the turn. 4 of hearts. Antonio makes his flush.
Cassavetes drawing dead, but he did pick up outs to a gut shot.
He checks.
Let's see if Antonio wants to bet it for value.
Looks like he does. A whole lot of value, 11,400.
Nick's in a pretty tough spot. It's pretty easy for Antonio to just be double barreling here since all kinds of hands just picked up outs, even though we know he's not.
Literally scratching his head.
First hand, huh?
First hand makes it particularly less credible.
I fold.
He lets go of his pair.
Good for the game. Good for the game. Good for the one?
Can't show any cards today.
Not today.
Antonio's still just mad about that tearjerker ending to the notebook.
So Antonio will drag the first pot of the night as we pause to take a look at the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit and then no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 4 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. And every player begins with at least 100,000 but can rebuy for up to 500K.
And one change from last season, a winning loose cannon can no longer come back to try to increase his stack. Like Eminem says, you only get one shot.
Jared, where are you from?
LA.
LA?
Yeah, how about you?
I live here.
Cool.
Green side folds.
I'm from far away.
Antonio moved to California from Iran at the age of 9. He has 6-10 of spades.
I saw your card, Antonio.
Did you really?
Yeah.
From over there?
Not as much of a magician as you think.
Wow. I was going to open for a little raise
Good
there.
one. I'm going to start doing that in the big
Middle
blind.
black, middle
Hey,
black.
I saw your card.
I cannot believe you saw my card from over there. That's strong.
Pralad, king, queen.
He bluffed you right out of that pot.
Exactly.
You did
1 to
well.
1. We're 1-1 now.
12.
Raises.
Are you going to fill me in on what the card was?
Middle black.
Oh, okay.
He's right.
Cannon folds.
So action will be on Eagle Eye Cassavetes.
Big slick for Nick.
There's a rule you have to play every hand, right?
Just calls.
So I guess if you had 2 black cards, you would have probably folded, yeah. I'm going to put you on red right now.
Nick probably should have 3-bet ace-king out of position.
9, 4, 10, 2 spades. Antonio would have flopped top pair and a flush draw.
Had he 3-bet, Nick would have had the lead and gotten some pre-flop value.
Go ahead.
He checks.
Check.
And Pralad checks. Jack of diamonds and Friedman makes his gut shot.
Pralad has the nuts. Now that Pralad's given up the lead on the flop, Nick might think ace-king could be good.
Fires 2,400.
Middle cards, huh? How would you feel if I raise you?
Oh, man, I think Pralad thinks he's in a casting session.
We just go make another movie and whatever.
Always
you know,
an
what's the big
option
deal?
for me is to raise. I feel like
You wouldn't be in his next movie, I'll tell you that.
representing the middle cards. How many middle cards can there be? What would I raise it to get him to fold? A 9. 24.
There's some high-level thinking going on over here, Jared. You see that?
Yeah.
Mind of
like
the
you have a
greatest. Spirit rock.
So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it 8,000.
Pralad is Hollywooding the director's face off.
That Hollywood was worthy of a movie.
I loved it, huh?
Right, Nick?
Yeah, I loved it.
As a director, what did you think of the Hollywood?
I
there?
loved it.
So Friedman is raised to 8,000. Cassavetes is going to make the call.
Cassavetes also directed the movie Alpha Dog, and speaking of dogs, he's 6% to draw for a chop.
Ace on the river. He's made a pair.
Worst card ever for Nick. He improves and Pralad's hand remains the nuts.
Cassavetes checks.
Should I Hollywood more before I bluff?
Any more Hollywooding, and Pralad's going to have to pull out a headshot and get a job at the Cheesecake Factory.
How much does one need to bet?
I have front row seats to this show
8,
for free.
That's
You know?
16. 21K.
Pralad bombs it, 30,000.
Massive overbet.
I call.
Ouch.
And Nick sees the bad news.
Just the nuts.
Just the nuts.
Good hand.
Thanks.
Wow, bro. If you didn't see my card.
Nice hand. 2 hands, huh?
And the Oscar goes to Pralad for the role of guy with the nuts. So that inspired performance helps him scoop a pot of over 79,000, and he's currently up 37,600.
And welcome to the big game, Nick Cassavetes. After just 2 hands, he's lost nearly half his buy-in.
You see all the Hollywood going on?
I know.
All the, you know, check and I'll bluff and all this kind of stuff?
Believe it or not, I do the same thing bluffing, so I have to I have to adjust my
balance
range.
So far as we know, you always have the nuts.
Well, not a big sample size.
No, yeah, exactly. Okay, for a lot of Hollywoods, he has the nuts.
From now on.
Sure thing, buddy.
You flop a pair and a flush draw?
Yeah, top pair and a flush draw.
Well, you might have won it, too.
Ace deuce of clubs for Antonio.
Yeah. Considering the two hands.
Raises to 1100. Prahlad out. On the cannon with queen jack offsuit.
There we go.
He'll make the call. Cassavetes and Greenstein quickly out.
We're officially in the red.
Loose cannon has entered the pot.
5 tray of clubs for Selbst.
You only win what you keep what you win, right? Over 100? Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Not sure if that was a question or a reminder.
Selbst calls out of the big blind.
Vanessa's out of position, but looks like she wants to play a pot with the LC.
Flop jack, ace king. Esfandiari with top pair, Huggins with bottom, and Selbst checks. Antonio bets 3,100.
Jared's got a pair, so there's no shame in making the call here and seeing one more card. Antonio would c-bet a lot of flops, and he has gut shot. Okay.
He gives it up. Action back on Selbst.
Vanessa does have the propensity to go crazy sometimes. It is a little early, though.
Not this time. She folds.
You guys have to make it so hard. Why can't you just fold?
Left me out of a pot. I was going to check raise.
You know, just nice and easy.
So Antonio takes 2 of the first 3 pots we've played, and the loose cannon gets his first taste of high-stakes action on the big game. Does Jared have what it takes to beat this table of pros? Find out after this. The action's just getting started. Welcome back to Las Vegas and the big game, where the loose cannon Jared Huggins faces an uphill battle of trying to turn a profit against a murderer's row of poker talent. No stranger to struggle, Jared's beaten even longer odds just to be here.
I'm Jared Huggins. I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm on the big game. I'd never heard of the big game because I lived in my car a year ago, and I didn't have a television. Basically, I've just had a lot of bad things happen. I got really sick. I have psoriasis, which is a skin disease, and it got really bad. And I got depressed. I didn't have a job. I was living in my car, and I felt like giving up. And this was like only a year and a half ago. I made a decision that I wanted to transform my life, and I was going to try to do whatever I could that was positive. So I went and gave out hugs to people, and I recorded it and made these videos.
Let me give you a hug, brother. You know one thing better than a free hug? Nothing.
It was for me like breaking through a barrier. It was like me becoming a more outgoing person, and it really brought something really special to my life. And I had no idea anybody would see the video. But sure enough, tens of thousands of people from around the entire world, every continent saw this video, and they began to contact me and help me out. So I slowly kind of rebuilt my life, and I feel like the big game for me, it's just the cherry on top. I'm breaking away. Now that my life's better, this is my chance to bring it full circle, you know, and I want to help out other people. If I win money on the show, one thing I'd like to do is donate some money to a couple of charities and hopefully turn it to kind of a pay-it-forward thing. But, you know, I got to win first. So hopefully whatever pros are out there, I run really good and take all your money.
So we had a loose cannon named Cannon, now a guy named Huggins who gives out free hugs. Maybe we should have Huff on the show so he can complain a lot. And remember, Jared only gets to keep the hugs he makes over the initial 100,000.
So can you keep the cards down a little bit? They're coming from a little high.
What do you care? You show them anyway.
Barry lets it go. Queen 9 off for Selbst.
You know, I've never been that way in my whole life. Never been to New York.
Never been to New York.
Need to go.
They have good steaks in New York.
Yeah.
A lot of good steak places.
Uh-oh.
Selbst is raised to 1,400. Action over to Friedman. Pocket 9s.
Prahlad's a vegan. He's not even comfortable referring to a car as horsepower.
Give it a call.
And calls. King 5 for the loose cannon. Lets it go. Cassavetes folds.
Vanessa's only got one overcard, but she's not in terrible shape with a hand that can also make straights.
Heads up to the flop. Ace 3-10 rainbow.
Vanessa's missed the flop pretty hard. Will she continue? She knows Prahlad doesn't need an ace to call her pre-flop.
She does continue, 2,200.
Gotta bet the ace-high flop. It's one of those mandatory things in poker. When you raise, comes ace-high, bet.
Friedman folds.
That's why it's mandatory.
Chatty Prahlad channeling another vegan today, though Daniel would never fold there.
Maybe it should be a mandatory rebluff then. If it's always mandatory to bet when there's an ace, maybe.
But it's worse when they check, that's for sure.
Problem is they have an ace sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, Vanessa did not have an ace, but her bet on the flop was enough to take down the pot.
And at just 26 years old, Vanessa has already racked up over $4 million in live tournament winnings. Equally impressive is the fact she's also a full-time student at Yale Law School studying civil rights. Folks haven't seen much of Vanessa's cash game on TV, but if it's anything like her tournament play, I would expect more aggression than the Predator on Red Bull.
And the action will start on Vanessa with 10-4 off. Lets it go. Antonio, Jack 7, folds. Ace-deuce suited for Prahlad.
12.
Raises to 1,200. Huggins out. Ace-tray suited for Cassavetes.
Got Prahlad dominated.
And he makes the call. Greenstein folds. And we're going heads up again to the flop.
These two again.
King, queen, ace, rainbow. Both players flop top pair. And check.
Very likely to end in a chop. Scratch that.
Deuce of spades on the turn, and Friedman has 2 pair.
You raised, ace.
Oh, I'm supposed
raised.
to. Wait, hold up. I'm supposed to bet the ace. I'll just bet the turn. I'll bet something manageable.
Prahlad loves his hand.
I give you 2.
$2,000 worth.
Not too much, not too much.
2 for the 2.
And Nick calls.
Cassavetes can hit a spade or a tray. Board pairs king or queen. They'll still chop.
7 of clubs, brick. And he checks it.
Nick's checking because he's got some showdown value. Prahlad probably still likes his hand. Nick's played pretty passively, and that 7 was a total brick.
Prahlad bets 5,000 and quickly called.
Pretty brutal opening weekend for the Hollywood director.
Prahlad shows him the blockbuster.
Nice him.
And the frustration double check into the muck.
3 outer, probably.
Thanks for inviting me to the game, fellas. I really have a good time.
All these guys want shots at Cassavetes for all the times they've had to sit through the notebook.
When do I get my shot? So Prahlad Friedman gives another pot-winning performance as the deck approaches absolute 0 for Cassavetes. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more big game right after this. Welcome back to the big game. Here's where we stand after 9 hands. Hollywood director Nick Cassavetes' big game premiere has opened with a flop. He's down over 58,000. It's the vegan rapper known as Spirit Rock, Prahlad Friedman, on top. He's up over 45,000.
I've never had a steak.
Ever in your life?
No. Or a hamburger.
Are you serious?
How much would it take?
Garçon.
No,
Garçon.
I just can't see myself eating meat, you know, for any amount.
Never have in your life?
Well, how much would it take you to eat a human arm? To me, it's the same thing. Like,
how is it cooked?
Coming from such different You're like, I don't know, 100,000?
Sounds good, man. I'm hungry.
You got one here?
I didn't prove my point with this crowd.
I think I've got 2 things that might be rare. I've never had a beer in my life.
Wow.
Ever?
Ever.
What?
Never.
I've never had a beer.
We're taking you out.
And,
We're taking you out.
And
The table's requested all burgers and beer.
the other
for
thing
dinner
I've never had in my life is I've never had a cup of coffee.
What?
I think I've had both this morning.
Yeah, right.
I'm with Nick. The coffee comes in very handy when the beer starts making you too tired.
The action continues with hand 10 of 150. It'll be on Antonio Esfandiari. With ace-9 offsuit.
It's the biggest, worst ace.
Folds it. Prahlad Friedman, 4 tray. Lets it go. The loose cannon, Jared Huggins, ace-6 offsuit.
I'd like to see Jared get aggressive, but playing a bad unsuited ace can get dicey.
Not scurred. Raises to 1,200. King tray suited for Nick Cassavetes.
Cassavetes stuck and maybe steaming a bit.
Maybe. Re-raises to 3,300.
We need some music up in here.
We do. A little hip-hop. That'd be sick.
Oh, we've got music. Stick around for a big game first. Prahlad Friedman has written an exclusive rap track that we'll bump later on in the show.
I love the combination of rhyming with syncopated beats.
The action is now back on Huggins, who's facing a 3-bet from Nick Cassavetes. And folds.
Good fold.
Cassavetes wins the pot. So far tonight, the director's been all about action.
Makes sense. His old man was in the dirty dozen. Of the 10 hands we've played, Cassavetes has voluntarily put chips into 6 of them, opening 4 of those pots for a raise. Combine that with running a little salty, and it's amounted to a loss of over half the stack. Hey, well, that was the problem right there. He wasn't wearing his glasses. Nerd alert!
The action will start on poker legend Barry Greenstein.
Don't ever lay that hand down.
There goes your reputation.
Even Barry's busting on Buddy Holly over there.
Suited 1 gapper.
Low.
Raises to 1,500. Pocket jacks for Vanessa Selbst.
Great spot for a 3-bet. Vanessa has a rep for being very aggressive.
We have 3 bets. She's made it 5,200 as Fondiari wants none of it. King 4 for Prahlad. Lets it go. The cannon. Ace 10 suited.
Knowing what the cards are, this would be a correct fold, but I don't know in general if I could fold Ace 10 suited to a Vanessa Selbst 3-bet. Plus, Barry did raise under the gun, which is supposed to be strong.
The cannon folds.
Tight, but I don't hate it.
What can I fold?
That hand.
8-4 of clubs. Lets it go. Action back over to Barry.
See if Barry gives Vanessa the action she deserves.
And he does. He re-raises to 15-5 with 7 high.
I love wizard versus wizard battles. You know?
Wizards.
Well, Gandalf, or Barry Potter over there, has sort of stepped in it here. No way Vanessa can fold this. Even if she puts him on aces, she's got implied odds to flop a set.
And she calls.
Sure, Barry would have much rather won this pre-flop. Probably not all that happy to see a flop here.
Jack 9-3 rainbow. Vanessa's flop top set.
Now, we know Barry's going to c-bet, but we'll have to see how Vanessa tries to get max value out of a guy with 7 high.
As advertised, Barry makes it 15,500.
Barry's doing a lot of the work for Vanessa. As she tries to figure out her next move, she'll realize the board is fairly dry, so a raise will look very strong. Even if Barry did have a strong hand, there's a chance he could fold to a raise.
Vanessa just calls.
She's probably going to let Barry try to fire at this again.
To the turn. Queen of spades.
This isn't a great card for Vanessa. Some draws came in more developed. None for Barry, however. Let's see how much further he wants to hang himself. Oh, by the way, he's drawing dead.
And Barry fires 30,000 again on a stone bluff.
This is a pretty aggressive bet by Barry because all that stuff I just said about outs developing goes for Barry as well. There's a really good chance Vanessa has some piece of this board, and he's trying to blow her off it. This bet is for almost half of Vanessa's remaining stacks, so the correct move would be for her to move in. If Barry had a hand with equity, she would want to protect her hand.
I'm all in.
Vanessa's all in for over $37,000 more, and Barry can't call.
Barry, see ya.
And Greenstein folds.
Maybe time for Barry to give beer a try.
Barry had to give up the ruse right there and lay it down. Meanwhile, Vanessa scoops the biggest pot we've seen so far tonight, worth over $160,000.
Nice hand.
Thank you, sir.
Vanessa wins the Battle of the Wizards, impervious to Barry's aggression spell.
Well, now Vanessa can go and register for classes next semester, as Barry donated a year's tuition to her college fund. Back with more Big Game right after this. Welcome back to the Big Game from Las Vegas, Nevada, and our state-of-the-art poker room. And we just saw Vanessa Selbst take down the biggest pot of the session when Barry ran a double-barrel bluff into her top set. We had a chance to talk to them both about the hand as we take you behind the poker face.
Well, when I looked at the table, it was a pretty tough table. The strategy I wanted to use against this table was to bluff early, try to get away with as much as I can until I get caught, and then tone it down. I took my shot here, even though I didn't have much of a hand.
On the 14th hand, Barry opened, which I don't really know how he's planning on playing in the big game, but I know that he can open a wide range. I have a pair of jacks. It's obviously a very good hand in a 6-max game, and given the fact that I'm a very aggressive player, it's an easy re-raise for me because I'm going to be re-raising with hands like 7-5 suited, things like that.
Yeah, I knew Vanessa, Antonio, and Prahlad were going to be taking shots at me. They were to my left. So I was hoping I could re-raise them back and, you know, win some pots until they knew what I was doing. So
when he comes back over the top, I know that he knows that I can have a lot of trashy hands. So I think he's going to do this with a wider range than against a tighter player. He's sort of representing that he has aces or kings, maybe queens, or he can have a hand like ace-king, or he could even just have a total bluff, you know, any small suited connectors, small pocket pair. But I thought it was more likely that he either had a hand like ace-king or a bigger hand. I call the re-raise. My plan is to really just have to make a read whether I think he's bluffing or not. The flop comes Jack 9-3 rainbow, which is just obviously perfect. It plays itself from there. He bets about half the pot, and I know he's capable of continuation betting with ace-king.
now I was hoping that from Vanessa's point of view, it would look like I could have something like ace-king or ace-queen, and she might call me with any pair.
I know that if he has a hand like aces or kings, on almost every turn, he's just going to keep going with it. And my plan was just to keep calling him down if the board ran off well. And, you know, if he has ace-king, he could also hit an ace or a king, which would be great for me. So I call. Turns a queen of spades, which is one of the worst turns probably in the deck for me.
When a queen came, I didn't want to check because I can represent ace-queen, and she might have called me with 7s, 8s, or 10s.
And so when he bets 30,000, you know, I only have about 40 left. So at this point, there's a lot of draws to protect against. If he has like an ace-king of spades or an ace-10 or anything with a 10 in it, you know, I just want to stick the money in right here. I'm all in.
But at that point, it's hard to imagine she's got 7s or 8s. Even if she called there, it's kind of over at that point.
He folded pretty quickly, so most likely he was just bluffing.
Barry was bluffing. He bluffed off 60K with 7 high. I know Barry's a poker legend and all, but we talk poker a lot, and for some reason he won't stop trying to bluff people off top set.
Serious leak in his game. Action will start here on Vanessa.
Always a good problem to have when you can't act because you're still stacking chips from the last hand.
Big slick for Selbst. Raises.
Play the rush.
Antonio gets out of the way. Action on Prahlad with 9-6 of clubs.
I have to be the rush stopper.
Spirit Rock, the rush stopper.
Why wouldn't anyone ever want to stop Rush? Tom Sawyer for the win.
Prahlad calls. Action on the cannon with Queen 10 suited.
This would be a totally fine call on the button.
Get him, Jared. Punish the pros.
Says the pro who's not in the hand.
Jared's in. Cassavetes out.
You look good in those glasses.
I'm very studious.
Three-way action to the flop.
Jared looks like he's trying to mind control the dealer.
Trade Jack 9, 2 diamonds. Huggins is up and down. Friedman with a pair.
Vanessa's got one of his outs, though. And it looks like she's going to continue.
She does. Bets 4,200.
With middle pair, Prahlad's ahead of quite a bit of Vanessa's range. Not to mention the hand she actually does have.
He makes the call.
For Jared, this is a pretty clear call. Not really a spot for a raise, since even if you hit, you might not get paid. Straight draws are tough on flush draw boards. Even if your outs aren't dirty, they could be action killers.
And he will just call.
Got the attention of Vanessa and Prahlad.
So we'll see a turn. Deuce of clubs, total blank.
We call that a banana. And it looks like Vanessa may be thinking about continuing.
She does. 13,200. And Prahlad folds.
2 barrels enough for Prahlad. Jared's not getting the right price, even against ace-king, which is sort of best-case scenario since his pairs are live. Now, if Vanessa's only betting sets in this spot, he can call because if he hits his card, he could get paid. But if she's super wide, it'll be tough to get paid if he hits. Still, I want him to call. Ugh.
Cannon lets it go.
Wow.
Selbst wins another pot, this one worth over 31,000. Kill pot.
Pot after pot.
It's that easy.
So Vanessa continues to put pressure on the table.
That's right, Huff, and that pressure is paying off. Even though it's early, she's racked up a whopping 145K in winnings without showdown. The loose cannon Jared Huggins is still playing the opposite style, and it's not paying off. So far, he's letting his opponents bet for him. If he keeps it up and never takes the offensive, not only will he have to make hands, he'll have to take a lot of heat with them. Jared's rep is looking pretty nitty at this point, so if he started opening up a bit, he'd probably get a little credit, post-flop at least.
Prahlad Friedman with 8 tray of clubs. Can comfortably fold that one. Over to Huggins. Pocket 5s.
This would be a time to start getting aggressive. Maybe want to step on the gas with the Sammy Hagar.
Move around a little bit, get warm.
Sounds like someone might be a little iron deficient. Huff, pass the meat.
And Huggins raises to 1,200. Cassavetes with 6 tray suited. Makes the call.
You know it's bad when even the other amateurs are taking shots at you.
Greenstein, ace-10 offsuit.
Not always a re-raising hand, but Barry's got position, and he can put the squeeze on Nick.
He re-raises to 5,100. Subs San Antonio quickly out, and the action's back on the loose cannon.
This is a big re-raise, and Barry's a little short, so Jared's not even really getting the right implied odds to try to flop a set.
Can't drive 55. He lets it go.
He prefers David Lee Roth.
Nice.
And Cassavetes is out. Greenstein will take it down without a fight.
Barry likes to attack dead money and amateurs, and in this case, he got a twofer.
So the cannon's the one with a target on his back, feeling the pressure from the pros. Find out if Jared can handle the heat when we come back.
I wanted to ask you a question. You directed the movie The Notebook.
Yep.
I actually wrote a script I was hoping you could look at for me. It's a sequel to The Notebook. They sort of come back from beyond the grave.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
and
real
it's
good.
kind of a zombie, but romantic at the same time.
Cool, I like it.
I can send it over?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, sign me up, man.
Cool, let's just
let's just do it.
Let's just do it right now.
Let's just do it.
Fantastic.
Waste too much time talking about it.
See ya, poker.
Oh, man, this is so exciting. Joe, can I be your assistant on Zombie Notebook?
I'm going to tell you what Nick told me. Yeah, I'll give you my number later.
Action will start on the cannon with 5 tray. Lets it go.
Is that where you got that watch?
Cassavetes with king 9. Folds.
Oh, I got the button? Wow. Strong.
Barry lets it go.
Don't know why Vanessa's even bothering to look at her cards. It's unopened, and she's on the button.
9 tray of clubs for Selbst. Raises to 1,200.
The button, huh?
I can't resist.
It's mandatory, just like the ace. The ace flop, you gotta bet that.
You gotta defend, though.
I gotta defend.
Friedman defends with a suited ace, and we're going to see heads-up action to the flop.
I think I speak for everyone when I say, please, clubs.
5 queen 8, 2 clubs. Friedman and Selbst flop flush draws.
I'm gonna check.
Prahlad's strong, but he's checking to the razor.
And Selbst checks.
Vanessa gives up the lead.
6 of diamonds on the turn.
Vanessa picks up a gut shot. For Prahlad, ace high could be the best hand, and he can now semi-bluff the nut flush draw.
Bets out 2,400.
By checking the flop, Vanessa kept the pot small enough that she could call this bet if she wanted to. She's also picked up outs here on the turn.
Looks like she wants to. Makes the call.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a club would be an action card.
Sick read. Here comes the river. 5 of diamonds pairs the board, but no club.
Prahlad's got the best hand and has this locked up as long as he doesn't fold.
Can I rep the 5s?
I love when you think out loud, you know, it gives me a little extra joy.
Can I rep these 5s here?
Can he rip the 5s has been called, Cassavetes.
I've heard him before.
I'm curious to see if he can rip the 5s too.
I could rep the queen too. She doesn't have a queen.
Guys, she's right there.
I need the big chips for this. 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Prahlad bets 10,000.
Reppage.
I doubt this is an ace-high value bet, so I can only imagine Prahlad's attempting to bluff her off a bigger ace.
And she folds.
You gotta give the speech both ways.
Yeah, maybe.
Friedman shows a deuce.
Vanessa realizing she could have maybe taken him off of it. Everything coming up Prahlad today.
If I ask you a question, do you promise to answer only if you answer honestly?
Sounds like a trick question.
You don't have to answer it, but if you answer it, I would like an honest answer.
Definitely a trick question.
All right, sure, I have the option of the no.
You have the option of not answering. All right, who's better than you? You can't answer it, right? Because you're the best, right?
Earlier tonight, we promised you an original rap from Prahlad. The wait is over. We now give you Prahlad Friedman, a.k.a. Spirit Rock, a.k.a. Progress.
Jared, nobody's story can compare to this kid. One time he even was homeless. Now we got a shot at a whole lot of money. I'm at the same table, but it's tough to not root for the homie. Barry Greenstein, been around a long time. Author, Robin Hood of poker, mad generous. I loved his style, minus too many C-bets. Vanessa Selps, law school and a poker black belt. See her on a felt, out swimming sharks like Phelps. She doesn't need the cards that are dealt. Nick Cassavetes, ill director, actor, even writing movies. Ever heard of Blow Out for Dog or The Notebook? I got mad respect. Maybe for his next film, he'll give me a look. Antonio Esfandiari plays sickly. He got tricks up his sleeve, literally. Hopefully today I got the magic though. Make his chips vanish quickly, you feel me though? Then it's me, aka Progress. The big game show, I always do my best. Round up, come test. Peace to the crew too, we couldn't do it without you.
I have to say, Prahlad's raps have really come a long way from should-have practiced avoidance. I guess you could say he's made a bit of progress.
And he's made some progress tonight. He's up $43,000 already.
But I have to balance my range with the speeches. This is getting tricky now. It's 2 speeches. Yeah. The third speech, am I supposed to have it or not? That's the question.
I don't know.
Give me some input and then I'll adjust.
If you're in favor of no more speeches at all, be perfectly quiet.
If it's against me, if it's against me, no.
Ah, Nick ruined it.
You figure I wouldn't do it twice.
I don't figure anything. I just pay off. I just pay off. I don't care. I'm just paying.
Action folded to Antonio on the button, who raises with 10-4. Freeman with Queen 9 in the small blind.
Well. Raise it.
Makes it 4,600.
Prahlad not respecting Antonio's button raise.
Pocket 9s for Huggins.
It's tough to pull the trigger in this spot, but against these guys, this is probably a 4-bet. Folding's a little too tight, and cold calling is tough because you almost hate it if you don't flop a set, and there's almost no chance you get to cheap showdown.
He just calls.
Please punish him, Jared. Please punish him for erasing me.
Antonio folds.
I'm never rooting for anybody so bad in my life. I'm rooting for you, brother. Just get ready for the speech.
One thing you're going to know, though, you will get a speech. Either way.
Jared's laughing on the inside.
Flop, tray 7-8. Huggins overpair, still best.
1 second while Prahlad does some quick speech writing.
Called a raise and re-raise. That's strong.
Pretty good read.
So now if I bet, I have stronger than your hand, which should be really strong.
He kind of lost me there.
So that's the question.
The speech has started, Cassavetes.
Speech
You
is
might want
starting.
to cast him for the next movie.
This is a new thing for me, the
Right.
speeches. So
Notebook
I'm
2?
experimenting with the speeches.
Girls will fall in love with him, right? Good-looking white boy, vegan, plays good.
I've been working on them. If I don't beat him too many pots, maybe.
But there's a line to get in his movie.
I think you're safe.
Prahlad would look great in zombie makeup.
I'm going to check.
Prahlad checks.
Prahlad's given up the lead, and this board can probably only get worse for Jared, so he should bet.
Check.
But he checks.
Oh, boy.
Turn, jack of clubs.
Both Prahlad and Jared pick up more outs. Prahlad's gut shot 1 higher. Jared checking the flop might be all the incentive Prahlad needs to bet. At least he's not giving us a speech about it.
And he does bet 7,000.
I think this is a must call in this spot. It's just too easy for Prahlad to be doing what he's doing, and Jared picked up more outs, even though we know his gut shot would be no good. As a loose cannon, you're only here for 150 hands. Can you really fold 2 9s when 1 overcard hits the turn?
But Jared folds.
Wow.
That is a very, very tight laydown.
Prahlad gets the loose cannon to lay down the best hand again. And after just 19 hands, Jared has dug himself a hole to the tune of $17,300. We've played over 3 orbits, and he has yet to drag a pot. Jared's quest for a W continues when we come back.
Hey, Prahlad, they're playing your song.
Welcome back to the PokerStars.net Big Game. Scott Huff alongside Joe Stapleton. We played 23 of the 150 hands to be played over the course of this week. Action on the loose cannon. Pocket kings.
This one kind of seems like a no-brainer.
And he's reaching for raising chips.
It's fun if you find someone that doesn't really have
Makes
a
it
clue about
1,200.
reality, which
Cassavetes and
a lot of in
Greenstein
the
quickly
poker world,
fold.
there's a lot of in the
Ace
poker
4 for Vanessa Selbst.
On the button.
Calls.
Played Loud and Thinks with a guy, and we did what's the most Phil Ivey has ever spent, like out at a club or strip club or anywhere.
Was this guy a poker player?
Yeah. He said 6,000. I was like, you're the worst Loudon thinks player in the world.
Phil Ivey tips the bathroom attendant 6,000.
Flop 7-5-9 rainbow. Huggins kings are still good.
He should bet this just in case Vanessa's caught a piece, even though we know she hasn't.
And he does, bets 2,400, and Vanessa folds. So the loose cannon finally notches his first win, and it only took pocket kings to do it, Joe.
Through 24 hands, Jared has only raised 3 hands, giving him a table worst PFR of 12.5%. He's folded to a 3-bet 100% of the time, which is also worst at the table. On top of that, his aggression factor is a 1.0 as he continues his passive play post-flop. With this style, it's going to be difficult to get paid off with his premium hands, but on the flip side, helpful if he wants to start opening it up a bit.
Pocket sevens for Antonio.
The re-speech and then just the jump. No more 4s.
Spondiari raises to 1,100. Ace queen for Prahlad. Calls. Huggins, king queen offsuit.
Jared's dominated, but this is a pretty easy call.
Easily calls. Nick Cassavetes with 6-4 also in.
Getting decent pot odds, and he's on the button.
Barry folds. King 4 suited for Vanessa in the big blind.
Should be an easy defend.
If we get the whole table drinking, then we'll really...
I'll drink if everyone drinks.
I'll drink if Barry drinks.
Barry?
No.
She calls.
Not this time. Tonight?
What?
Come out and hang out with us tonight?
Doesn't look like it.
No?
Flop, Jack 9 deuce rainbow, gut shot for the cannon. Vanessa checks.
Antonio has the best hand, but there are a lot of people in this hot tub, and Jack 9 is a flop that's all over most people's ranges.
He checks it, as does Friedman. Back over to the cannon.
Jared should be happy to get a free card.
Check.
He checks. And Cassavetes will check it to the turn. 6 of spades.
Cassavetes pairs his 6, so he's now upgraded to the second best hand.
Selps knocks it.
That's a pretty good turn card for Antonio.
And he's going to bet 4,100.
Prahlad's got ace queen high, which isn't likely to be the best hand with this many players in the pot. Though he's not used to folding tonight.
But he does.
With no speech. Jared's still drawing quite live. 2 overs and a gut shot to the nuts.
Cannon folds.
Somewhat tight.
Cassavetes folds his pair. And Selps is out. And Antonio's going to win it.
You turn over a 6?
No. I didn't turn over anything. Do you see a 6?
You flashed something. I didn't see it though.
Saw my hand again? So sick.
You know what else is sick? We're done already.
Aw. So Antonio takes down the last pot of the night and ends his session up nearly 20,000. Vanessa Selps is the big winner so far, racking up a profit of over 63K.
The loose cannon finally won a pot, but still finds himself 18,000 in the negative, but it's Barry Greenstein and Nick Cassavetes who've got the furthest to go to climb back to even.
All right, guys, end of the night. Jared, was it the best night for you? You want to hug it out?
Yes.
No, yes. Okay.
How can he say no to that?
Vanessa, you seem right at home here at the big game.
Yeah, you know, just...
Taking pots?
Yeah, I think I'm more used to the 6 max style, you know, it's us online kids, so it's working out okay.
All right, guys, that's the end of the night. I'm Amanda Leatherman saying goodbye for now. And remember, if you've got the cash and the guts, there's always a seat open at the big game. Good night, everybody.
For Joe Stapleton, I'm Scott Huff saying so long from Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, baby.
Pretty tough game?
Yeah, it's impossibly tough. I'm in over my head.
Nah, you'll be all right.
No. I get the best player in the world over there making the nuts against me. That's never good.
Easy with the nuts.
Not only that, making speeches and the nuts in the same hand. Brutal.
The preceding program was sponsored by PokerStars.net.